wanna feel what love is. Do 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 do. I want you to show me. It's a whole new loading song, and I'm singing it to you. I want to know what internet is. Yeah, internet. What up, Friday? Oh my God. It's Friday. What's up, everybody? What are you doing? What's going on? What's happening? What's happening to you? Hey, what's up, everybody? Good to see you. Happy Friday to all you people out there in the world, internet style. Sup? Sup, internet? Sup, what you doing? Sup, what you doing with yourself? All right, I'm a little bit crazy. It's Friday. It's early. Happy early, everybody. How you doing? Who was first to the chat? Who was first to the chat? Who was first to the chat? Meow. Let's see. Jad Orsi coming in first to the chat, quickly followed by Bald and Dangerous and somebody else who I can't remember now. Hold on. Gotta scroll right now. Frank Dominguez. Gotta scroll right. Meow. It's Friday. Yeah. And everybody's wondering, hey, man, what's up with Friday? Why is this guy so weird? Yeah, it's Friday. What up? I'm weird. It's all good. If you like it, cool. Hit the thumbs up. If you don't like it, go ahead and share it out there. Throw a share for us if you don't like it. Just be like, I hate this guy. He's the worst. Oh, he sucks. Oh, my God. He comes out here and he talks about stuff for a whole long time, and I don't like it at all. Well, good. If you don't like it, go ahead and hit that share button and let everybody know how much you don't like it. Right? Yes, that is a great way to go about it. You just let the world know how much you dislike stuff. And just remember, I do have the light, okay? At any point in time, this little light could come out. That's not my cool light. Hold on. Where's my cool light? Sorry, I had to come right back. I had to come right back because I had to go get my cool light. And if it gets even more intense for spooky stories. Ooh. Yeah, I guess the reason I bring this up is this is the first Father's Day present I've ever gotten. And check this out. It's magnetic. How you like me now? Magnetic light. Is that in the shot real good? Here, let's get it in the shot real good. There. Let's turn it around. Let's throw the label out there so people know what it is. We're like, what is that? I'm gonna look it up. If you happen to want to get a cool light like this, hold on a second. You know what's cool is that I got the link for it and then I lost it. Light. Let's get it on. Yeah. Oh, let's get the link. Get the link. And then we copy that link, and then we gotta put it in the other thing that... Oh, you... Paste. Shorten. Shorten. Do it, man. Do it. Paste the link to shorten it. You can't shorten that link any further than that. Okay, well, either way. There you go. There's the link for it. I know we were screwing around with it on the Real Fish Talk earlier this week, and some people were like, hey, man, what is that cool light? And I'll tell you this much. It's probably the coolest light I've ever owned, and why did I get it? It's my first Father's Day present, you guys. Now I kind of feel like I didn't show up for Vicky because I didn't realize that we were considering the Mother's Day, Father's Day thing so soon. I thought that was like next year. But thank you, Victoria. She hooked up the coolest travel light I've ever owned. Hold on. I'm going to turn this thing off over here. Man, I started out hot and then I just kind of wound down there. I know. I started out all super excited, but we'll get back to that in just a second. Want to say what's up to a couple of people here? Let's say what's up real quick because it's Friday. Why not? We got time. We early today. Let's say hi to Steve Horton, Wushu Jimmy Brown, Cassandra Guara, Frank Dominguez, Samantha Flanagan, Steven's here, Daryl Dimer's here, One Man Aquariums, Niz the One, what up, CJ Black, oh my, CJ Black here on the show. We do the early show and CJ Black gets to show up. Hide the button, I won't be able to find the button later. Crystal Harrison's here. Danny's Aquarium's here. Samantha, who I already said, Samantha Flanagan. Joel Gillett's here. Good to see you. Danny's Aquarium's, 54 Punchy. Barbara Jackson, Gene Tesk. Ooh, what's up? How you doing? Gar from Gaddis Aquatics. Or Gaddis Aquariums and Reptiles. The name has gotten longer, you guys. Bald and Dangerous is here, of course. And I said Nick's Fish Room. And Danny's Aquarium says it's early enough to actually be here at the show. Gosh, I'm liking that. I think I'm alienating the Australia New Zealanders. But we got to do the early show today. What's the early show all about? Why are we doing an early show on a Friday? What? What's the deal? What's the deal? Why am I doing an early show on my Friday? I think it's Friday, right? Today is Friday. We're going to have seriously missed a flight if it's not Friday. Okay. Well, Victoria and I are actually heading to San Francisco over the weekend. We're heading down there for tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday morning, and then we're heading back. Just to explain to people out there that think I'm jet-setting around. Yeah, let me explain. So, Vicky and I had already planned, we were supposed to head to Missouri this summer, right? We were headed out to Missouri for a fundraiser, which is actually a mud run, which means you got to, like, jump off a cliff and dive under some logs and go up a thing and do all that kind of stuff. And you run around for miles and 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 miles. Okay. Now, we're still up for that charity. We have we donated our tickets and we donated some money to them. But we had to cancel the mud run, you see, because Victoria is with child, and it's not exactly the type of environment that you really, really, really want to expose a pregnant lady to. Anybody out there that's going to do that, go do what you like, but, you know, a mud run is just not the greatest place for a pregnant lady, you know, diving around in the water and the mud and all that kind of stuff with all the other people, bacteria and all that kind of stuff. Not a great idea, right? So we had to cancel doing that, and then we had some leftover airfare because it was like, yo, you guys are going to get not really a refund. So we kind of powwowed and we talked about it, and Vicky has never been to San Francisco. So we're going to fly down there and have a good time and probably eat a lot of ice cream and do all that kind of cool stuff. We're going to Alcatraz during the day. We're going to go on a boat out there to the Alcatraz. Hopefully Vicky doesn't get seasick while we're doing that. But we're going to go to the Alcatraz. Then we're also going to tour around on some kind of tour bus, right? Which will be cool, right? That's definitely kind of a cool thing. We're going to cruise around on that and get some footage and stuff. And then here's what's super funny. So if you guys noticed, if you guys saw Wednesday's show, so Zenzo was here. I'll be at Zenzo's house on Saturday. So just a sort of accidentally kind of cool shenanigan schedule, basically. So Gillett is saying I need to take a photo of the Golden Gate Bridge. I will be in the exact spot to take some pictures of the Golden Gate Bridge, so no worries about that. I'll definitely be taking a lot of photos. I'll be probably making a little trip vlog thing that I'm sure will get posted up. And word to your mother, you guys, I accidentally uploaded the Apponageton video yesterday at the wrong time. So, whoops to this guy right here. I thought I was clicking Save Changes because I'm so used to clicking the Save Changes button. I accidentally clicked the Publish button. So, oops, you know. I was like, I accidentally hit the Publish button. And now that video is just doing terribly. I thought that video would have done pretty well. It seems like all the Oceaneers have checked it out, but it doesn't seem to be reaching anybody else because, oops, I uploaded it at 4:08 p.m., which is just such a bizarro smooth. Bizarro smooth. I will say that. It was a super smooth move, so that got up there. But just as a quick reminder to the live show people here, if there is a video like that comes up, it is huge that you guys just click that little share thing and just share it out, like on Twitter or something like that. You don't have to go like super in depth into it or anything crazy like that, but just doing the little share thing is a big time help because we're combating the YouTube robot, basically. The robot is emotionless. It has no feelings. It doesn't mind. It doesn't care. So we can't call it a big dummy or anything and like hurt its feelings or whatnot. So that's just one of those things, just as a quick reminder. And if you guys do like the garden vlogs and that kind of stuff too, obviously that's not exactly it's not exactly in line with like aquarium stuff. So I guess I was just saying that, like, if I do a vlog with Vicky or whatever, if you guys kind of like help share that out a little bit, maybe we'll kind of reach a little bit of a bigger audience, because I know it's not necessarily going to get served up to that many people by the robot. You know what I mean? I call the algorithm the robot now, because whenever I say algorithm, people freak out. So I'm just calling it a robot. It just sounds like more fun if I call it a robot. You know what I mean? It's not so... It's not that technical, right? It's just like a crappy robot. So Gillett is asking, can I print out a photo of him, then hold it up in front of the camera so it looks like I went to the Golden Gate Bridge? No, I can't do that, Gillett. That's ridiculous. But you could give me a good PNG version of a picture of yourself that you happen to like, and I could Photoshop you into it later, and then I could post it up on the show. And we'd be like, oh, Gillett was at the Golden Gate Bridge. Look. That would be pretty cool. Why is my nose making a weird noise? Oh, maybe I'm dying. Crystal Harrison says Pier 39 has the best crab house ever. Please enjoy crab there. We're staying on the pier, believe it or not. We actually worked out like a really good deal, so we're actually staying on the pier, so that's actually going to be pretty cool. We're staying just above the Fisherman's Wharf. Some friends kind of like hooked up a good deal, and so I think it'll be pretty fun. It sounds like it'll be pretty fun, and Vicky's never been there before. I've been there a bunch of times, and Zenzo is going to take me to a fish store that is kind of weird, but we're going to go to we're going to go to a fish store that is kind of different from your normal fish store. Not to say it's weird that I'd be going to a store with Zenzo, but we're going to try and go to that, and yeah, the Alcatraz, the bus tour. It's going to be pretty whirlwind, you know what I mean? We're going to try and eat as much food as we can and have a good time. The Japanese tea garden, some people are, Barbara is pointing out, I don't think we're going to be able to make it to that. We're really, like, it's just jam-packed with stuff that we're doing while we're there. So I think anything that's not on the schedule is probably not going to happen. We had to fit this in. We had to fit this in to be able to go, basically put it, Vicky has, you know, like her vacation time and stuff, but that we are saving all of Vicky's vacation time for baby time, basically, just to help extend her maternity leave as much as we can if we have to. This thing. Yeah. It made a little squeaky fart noise when I poked it in. Hold on. So just to give you guys an idea, this is a little diffuser cover that goes on here. It looks like a weird baby bottle thing situation. Maybe let's just make it more confusing and go like that. And people are like, "What is that weirdness?" But so I don't think anything's really going to be able to get fit in, like any additional stuff. So we're going to be touring around. It's going to be quick. I'm going to be back on Monday, so we'll have a regular Monday show. I'm trying to finish some edits on another weekend video, so I'll see if I can get there. I have to drive and go get our house sitter and stuff like that while we're gone. And Gabriel Martucci is asking, do you know what fish store it is? I don't know what fish store it is, but Zenzo was explaining it to me, and it sounds very interesting. So I will do my best to shoot a good video of that for y'all so I can get that back and, you know, throw that up onto the old YouTube's nets, right? Steve Horton says, that just means I got to double up on Mother's Day presents next year. Good point. I'm going to have to do that. I'm pretty much 100% going to have to double up because, you know, I got Father's Day presents this year, so now I'm going to have to double up next year. I'll see what I can do and make that work. Barbara Jackson says, just fed live blackworms to the community tank for the first time. They're going nuts. Yes, live blackworms will, fish will go bananas for live blackworms. I know I'm a bit controversial sometimes, but if my fish can't live off of high-quality dry food, I don't normally keep them. It just sounds like a weird thing to say, but that's just a reality of my schedule and stuff. So, you know, like if I'm buying a reef fish, it's got to be on pellets and dry food and stuff. I'm just not going to do it if it's like a wild-caught fish that will only eat live shrimp or something. I just don't do it. And that's like part of like my keeping, even though I keep my systems as natural as I can. I try to get aquacultured fish always that have at least adapted enough to the fish tank life, to eating dry food and stuff like that. Even though I do buy really high quality dry food, I want to make sure that they are able to eat that. So I don't typically do the bloodworms or anything like that because I want to kind of stick with my aquaculture plan, and I just kind of stick with it. Nick's Fish Room is asking, hey, Joel, what's the dosage of Excel to defeat Blackbeard algae? Have it in one of my tanks. So there's a little bit of an interesting kind of breakdown here for dosing against the BBA. You're going to have to take double the dose on the bottle. So the bottle has the dosing instructions on it. You're going to take double of that and do it every day. So like the end of every day, and don't do any water changes. The end of every day for about 6 days. So the 240 I ran through like 400 milliliters or something like that over the week. But you do have to parse it out. You can't just dump the whole bottle in there and be like, yeah, it's cool for a week, I'll be back. It does take those incremental. It does take that incremental dosing of the XL to get the BBA to die off. It will turn red first, and then it will turn gray. And often when it turns red, it becomes food for a lot of fish. So you'll notice a bunch of red-bellied fish or red-bellied shrimp or whoever's in there because they can eat it when it's red. When it turns gray, it sort of just withers away and falls off. So it's not necessarily the best way, but it's the best way to catch up with the black-beard algae, get it knocked down, and then be able to go from there. But you have to do it. You have to parse it out. So it's just double the dose for the tank over like a 6-day period. It's just under a week. And do be aware that some of your plants will be affected by it. Some of your plants will melt back and need to transition. So once you're done with that, you're going to need to do a couple little water changes, but do not uproot the plants that have melted. I'm kind of documenting right now the Madagascar lace when I did Vicky's tank. The Madagascar lace completely melted away, but now it's growing back like 4 times as big. So it's not the worst thing that you can do to your plants. It will knock them back and you'll be like, oh my God, they all died, and freak out. But sometimes that happens. It's not every time. It's not every plant. It's nothing like that. And it certainly hasn't happened to me every single time, but if it has happened, don't stress out about it because the root and the plant is still good. Don't worry about that. That one guy, Dan, says, does it make a difference when you dose it? When I dose what? Oh, Excel? We're talking specifically about the BBA treatment, the black-beard algae treatment. It's definitely the best way to go about it. I hope Nick's Fish Room is answering Sarah's little fish. I know a lot, but to save thousands of species of corals is a big job. Do you guys think they have too much hope in saving so many? This seems interesting. Let me see. Oh, all right. Sounds like you guys are talking about coral and traffic lights and stuff. All right, so I'm a little confused. Let's see here. Wushu Jimmy Brown says the algorithm will be the villain in Corvus' new graphic novel. It would be fun to make a graphic novel. I would need... The unfortunate thing is that, like, being able to do something like a graphic novel or whatever, like, you need a lot of money up front to free up the time to actually put that together. And I've never gotten a developmental deal or anything like that, a development deal. I was hoping that at some point in time, I would get some kind of development deal someday. I don't know, to free up the time to actually do some big old projects, but that has never happened for me. So, you know, I think a graphic novel would be a great project to go work on, but I've just never been able to free up the time to be able to do anything like that. Oddball Aquatics, hey Joel, put a picture of my 20 long on Patreon. Can you identify the Aponogeton species that is up in the front? It came with a grab bag, and I don't know what it is. Well, if you got your post up onto Patreon before the show started, because I'm not playing any shenanigans. Corey from Aquarium Co-op was trying to play shenanigans last week. He was putting posts onto the Patreon page while the show was going on and was like, hey, why didn't you get to my Patreon post? And I'm like, it needs to be up there before the show starts because I need to double check whatever it is, you know, content. I got to check the content. So if you got it up there, then we'll take a look at it and we'll see what's we got. But we'll definitely will if it's up there already. If not, I'll get to it next week. If stuff during the show does come up, I try to answer it before leaving people to wait a whole week. But some people might be confused about the thumbnail and the title today. Friday's show is almost always dedicated to the Patreon questions. This whole show, this whole ding-dang thing, me being able to show up here, is because of the Patreon page. I know that the Patreon page kind of confuses people because I say it real quickly. But here's a quick understanding of the Patreon page. It is a third-party website, which means it's not associated with Facebook or YouTube or Twitter or any of that kind of stuff, right? It's its own independent company, that hence the third-party name, and it is a crowdsourcing platform, right? So it would be kind of ridiculous of like, here's something similar I was just talking about, was like a graphic novel. for instance, I would need a bunch of money up front to be able to, like, not go run electrical cable for somebody or do whatever in order to work, in order to fund a graphic novel. Well, our big goal here is to essentially crowdfund a show that can just keep getting better and better. We can keep expanding. We can get more guests. We can do more projects. We can travel around and document more things and bring more information to people. Also, while potentially entertaining in sort of a podcast format, that's kind of what we do here. But this whole show is because of the Patreon people. We currently have 301 people kicking in on the Patreon, which is amazing. It's unbelievable. We are short of some of our goals. And this really, when I talk about this stuff, I feel like I'm talking like on NPR or something. Like, public radio is brought by listeners like you. And then I got to talk like this. Welcome, thank you for calling NPR. NPR. Right? But I don't talk like that, and I think it's ridiculous when people put on that NPR voice anyhow. But regardless of that, I feel like I'm talking about like a fund drive thing. And I did realize the other day when I was listening to the radio just how exhausted I was from hearing people talk about a fund drive. And I was just like, ugh. So I feel your pain, you guys. I feel your pain when you're like, don't talk about your fundraising. Don't talk about this. Don't talk about that. And I'm like, hey, that's all part of the jammy. I'm sorry. It just is. I would love to be on Netflix and there'd be like no commercials or anything like that, and it'd all be funded and we just make crazy shows all the time. But we're not there yet. We're not there yet, and so I do have to talk about things like the Patreon and my gratitude towards the people on the Patreon. It is amazing that 301 people are willing to chip in. And the cool thing about Patreon is it charges just once a month, so it's not something that's super reoccurring. We have some people that are all the way up at like $200 a month, which is wild. I don't have an expectation that everybody could do that, but we do have a lot of people at $1 a month, which I feel like a lot of people could do that for sure. So I would say that within that vein, if $1 a month is something you can do, I would look around and also find a couple other people. It's not just about me. I currently patronize like 11 or 12 other creators. It being just once a month, man, it really is really cool to be able to help promote and I guess encourage some of the stuff that is being made out there with something that's not totally crazy. It's not totally crazy amounts of money or crazy amounts of energy or anything like that. But we do the Patreon show on Friday because there's a community page on there. And that community page allows Patreons to post on it. The Patreons can go on there. You could post pictures. You could post a question. But the more information you could put on there, the better. We can get a really good opportunity to answer questions. Oftentimes, it's very difficult to just type it out real quick and then go, uh-oh, we don't have enough. We don't have enough. Right? We don't have enough information to really give a great answer, and oftentimes that's what ends up happening. So that's one of the big advantages to being on the Patreon is that you could post your water quality issues, a picture of like whatever plant you're trying to figure out what it is, and all that kind of stuff, because you can post a lot more up on there as compared to the chat or just a comment post or anything like that. God, my thumbnail is just a disaster right now. Whoa. Ba-da-ba-boom. Wushu Jimmy Brown says, oh, but I really want to see you and your sidekick Noodle Eggs foil the algorithm's latest scheme to monopolize the aquaponics market. I'm liking that. I am liking that, my guy. I am liking that. That's pretty funny. I think Noodle Eggs and I might be able to figure out how to do that, but our crime fighting skills is kind of lacking right now. But the one of the cool things is that old Noodle Eggs and I and Kobe, from the Aquarium Co-op. We're going to be doing a little road trip coming up here fairly soon. So we're going to be able to bring some really cool stuff to you guys. We're going to dedicate the time to drive to check out some really cool fish rooms and stuff like that, and hopefully be able to bring that to you guys on the YouTube. And I know that I'll make my crummy version, and speaking of noodle legs, he'll be making his really good versions on the Aquarium Co-op channel, so you'll at least be able to check out those ones. If you do watch mine, you might be like, wow, this guy seems like he puts his videos together with a tack hammer and a chisel like a caveman. And I'd be like, you're not far off. I got an X-Acto blade and some toenail clippers. These are fingernail clippers. These are terrible. You can never use these. I don't know who else out there, but fingernail clippers are useless to me. They break. They break on my... Just realized I was like pretty self-aggrandizing comment there, but on my wacky thick fingernails, they end up breaking, like this little thing right here. The tootly boop at the end here just breaks. It's weird. I don't even know why those are on my desk, but there they are. It's probably for editing, I guess. I would imagine that must be what they're there for. Let's see here. We've got it's 12. Well, where's my little timer? Where did it go? Oh, there it is. There's my timer. Well, we're 30 minutes in, which means time to go to the Patreon. Time to go to the Patreon questions. I better make sure I click on the right scene this time. Oh my gosh, I did. Ho, 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 ho. Eat too hot, Chewbacca. Here we go. You know what's cool? Patreon is cool. You know who's not cool? Corey from the coop. He's been giving me a hard time over and over again about how having a baby is going to change your life. And he's right, but I think he's wrong in what he thinks is going to change. But that's a pretty dope picture. I have to admit, he did find a pretty cool picture. I like the bokeh in the back, nicely out of focus, offset framing, looks good. Yeah, it's pretty good, and it's a fist bump, so we do like that for sure. Yeah. So let's see, Rogers Aquariums, egg noodles. What is why is Jimmy noodle legs? Yeah, he hikes too much, and then his legs are all floppy the next day. He goes on these hiking adventures with the bearded fish keeper. They hike way too much for Jimmy, and then he's like, I pulled my hammy or whatever, and he's always just having noodle leg problems. So you guys will notice that I click the heart button on the Patreon. That is not because I didn't like it until the show came. It is how I can keep track of the ones that that I answered or not, and it's kind of just how I do it. But Haley Cox sent in, finish in-game the news plants during the stream. Now I'm confused by this statement here, but the new plant. Oh, finish planting the new plants during the live stream. So during the live stream, got the plants in. I'm liking this little rock wall down here. I like that. And these guppies, I can't help but tell you guys, I am jealous of the guppy game you guys got going on right now. I need to get some more guppies. That's basically what it comes down to. Gonna have to do it. Gonna have to figure out how to get like 500 guppies and dump those into a tank at some point in time or something. But there is a great post from Haley. I'm liking that tank. This thing's gonna grow in really cool. This water sprite's gonna fill in all buck wild right here. There's a Ponageton right there. I see a Ponageton right there. Cool plant. Some guppy grass nonsense going on over there. And kind of hard to tell what exactly is up. Oh, these are some Bulbitis fronds. That's cool. Digging that. Like everything in there. Like the guppies. I'm not a huge white sand fan myself because I can't deal with it. I just emotionally I can't deal with it. Whenever it gets dirty, I freak out. But Johan posted last week. He's got these gar, which are I don't even know how to say this properly, but Hueda, I think. Hueda beanies? Beanies? I don't know. He got them, and here's the thing. I was saying, during the show last week, I was like, I can't have a gar. They're way too big. But it turns out these little busters, after he posted this, I went to go look them up, and I'm like, oh, wow, they do only get to like 8, maybe 10 inches at the most. So I was like, oh. Well, those might actually be a really cool option for a lot of people. You know, I was kind of looking up their water parameters and stuff, and I started thinking, man, these might be a really cool fish for like a pond. If somebody out there, not unlike myself, may or may not be setting up a pond at some point in time, these also might be really cool. Now, these fish right here, these live-bearing pikes, I get why people like them, but I just personally don't. You know what I mean? I just personally don't. Just because of what they've done to a lot of the waterways in America. Like, they're just not supposed to be there. They've just been kind of disaster for American waterways. So they probably just come with a bad rep, and I might be holding on to that. They might be coming with a bad reputation, and I might be holding on to that a little bit too much, a little bit too strong. But, you know, that's reality that I'm like, oh, I don't want those because they're just out of control. But they are cool looking fish. And I've never really spent a lot of time with, I've never spent a lot of time with their characteristics or their personality or anything like that. So I'm not really sure what they're like in a tank, but they might be really cool, and I might just be 100% wrong. We got another post from Johan here. I can't really tell what fish are in this tank, but there's a lot of greenery in there, but it does have a plastic vibe to me. This doesn't feel like real plants right here. Neither does this. So I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. Jury's out. We'll see what Johan says. Those might not be real. BC Fish Room, my man, Mr. Nick. What's going on? He's posting a big, long post here. I'm not going to read out the whole thing for you, but I'm going to read the top here. It says, living a very fish-centric life. Fish eccentric? From the fish room to the lakes and ocean, fish seem to be the dominant theme in my life, one not without ethical and moral considerations. I think of the ethics of keeping fish, particularly wild caught, as much as I consider the ethics of killing fish for my dinner. Which goes on to explain quite a bit. I'm not in disagreement at all. I don't know. I mean, a lot of this stuff, as I mentioned earlier, I pretty much like to keep the aquacultured fish as much as possible, as much as humanly possible. That's definitely something that I like to keep to. And, you know, one of the reasons for that is, you know, kind of lifestyle, also, and just kind of the ethical side of it too. But yes, wild fish do have to get brought into the tank systems at times, and I applaud the guys that are handling that in a very good way, and I think it should definitely be continued. One of the big things for that is maintaining the genetic lines of specific stuff that needs to get maintained, and that's pretty important for sure. You know, we haven't gone to so many fish talks this last week. It is important to remember that we do have to maintain a lot of those genetic lines without letting them get all mixed up, because out in nature, a lot of stuff is not being allowed to continue to exist properly, you know, with the ecosystems being destroyed with miners and farmers and all that kind of, you know, unethical farming and things that have been happening in certain parts of the developing world and in the first world here too. I think that's probably going to be the best thing that we can do. You know, a good instance of that would be like, how are we going to maintain the genetics of wolves and stuff like that? Well, turns out zoos were the ones that pretty much were able to keep that kind of stuff going. So that would be like a mammal type run at it a little bit to kind of explain it. But I'm so happy to see people actually out fishing and and engaging with the environment on top of having so many cool fish tanks and everything like that. I think it's great to have a balance of those two things, to see them out in nature. You don't necessarily have to fish for eating. You don't necessarily have to do that, but it is something that can definitely be done, and I'm not against it. I'm all for it. If you're taking it properly and following the appropriate, catch limits and stuff like that, and making sure that you're taking the correct fish, that's always going to be important. Of late, I was definitely having some conversations with some people about, the halibut, how much the halibut fishery has changed up in Alaska. Because as you guys know, Vicky and I will be up there this year, and we do plan on bringing some halibut back with us this time. The last couple times, it just hasn't been a great opportunity to bring any halibut back. So we're going to see if we can work out to bring some halibut back. But the fishery up there has changed so much. They're not taking big fish anymore like they used to. If you do catch a big fish, they end up just putting it back. They're like, wow, hey man, you did real good. You caught a 400-pounder. No, you can't keep it. Which is kind of funny. It's kind of funny to think that way, because back in the day, if you had a customer that brought in like a 500-pound or a 400-pound or something like that halibut, they would, there's no way a company would be like, no, you can't keep that fish. They'd be like, oh, everyone's going to want to fish on my boat, right? Because I'm going to bring in the big ones. And nowadays, it's actually the opposite. It's actually become the opposite, that if you do bring in too big of a halibut, it's like no one's ever going to want to fish on your boat ever again. And that one of the things with that is that most people didn't realize. They just thought, catch a big fish, you're just going to catch a big fish. As it turns out, the breeding capability of like halibut is that it exponentially compounds, right? As the fish gets bigger and bigger and bigger, it can breed way more. So let's say like a halibut that's like this big can have 10 babies. A halibut that's like this big can have 100,000 babies. A halibut that's like this big can have 10 million babies, right? So it's that exponential thing that most people haven't understood, and science is what's oftentimes bringing that to the table, especially with bringing fish in and maintaining them in captivity, and being able to figure out with some of the studies and stuff that have been done. So I think it's all definitely worthwhile, as long as everybody's maintaining the best interests in the forefront of their mind. And to run into our next piece here, our next post here from the Patreon, that sort of ties it in together. Does that make sense? It sort of tied it in together. How are you going to start to figure out some of whatever it was I was just talking about? Like, how could we really garner an opinion if maybe somebody out there doesn't have every single piece of information at their tips, aka fingers tips, right? Maybe you don't have it all right there, and you want to do some studying, and you want to find some stuff out. And here's completely insane, because Rebecca was asking, what are your favorite must-have aquarium books? I just picked up Blair's Biotopes, and I'm loving the photography. I'm going to be honest with you. 4 out of 5 of these would be my recommended books. Any book by Heiko Blair, for sure. The Ecology of the Planet Aquarium, for sure. You definitely want to read that one. The Encyclopedia of Aquarium Plants. There are a bunch of different ones. This one happens to be like the Barron's, whoever published this one. That one is awesome. And the Cichlid Aquarium by Paul Loesi. I don't even know how you say his last name, but like those 4 would be like on my list. I'm sure the Fancy Goldfish, I've never read that book, but I bet you that's probably a great book too, considering you've picked pretty much all of the good ones. But these are ones that off the top of my head I would recommend those 4 off the top of my head. Like if people were asking me, the Heiko Blair books for sure, the Ecology of the Planet Aquarium, and the Encyclopedia of Aquarium Plants. Those are the 3 that I would always tell people to look up and read. And then the Cichlid Aquarium, of course. I mean, that just sort of goes without. I don't ever say that, because you guys know I'm not like ridiculous about cichlids, but I like them, and I think learning about them is really smart thing to do for everybody out there, not just anybody specifically, but much appreciate this post right here. Those books are for sure some that I would 100% recommend. Oh, we got to open this up here. We've got a post from Sarah Baker. We get this a little up close. I'm liking, you guys, I'm so sad that I haven't been able to do macro photography very well. I've been trying to utilize my my 24 to 105 lens for some macro photography. It's not working out. So I'm just gonna have to keep waiting for the macro lens. I'm gonna get it at some point in time. I almost ordered one this week and just said screw it. But I'm gonna have to wait. The smart money's on just waiting and making sure that all my ducks are in a row. Right. But that's life. That's life sometimes, you guys. You just got to wait. You just got to wait for a little bit, and things will work out. Gene Test says, holy crap, Blair's Biotopes is $220. His books are very expensive. There are some cheaper ones out there. I think Blair's Biotopes, there are some rare ones out there, and I think also there's been publications like every year, so I would definitely look into those and find some that are a little bit cheaper. I mean, I think he was selling his for $30 at Interzoo. So, and that was like the listed price. Like, it wasn't anything weird. He was just like, yeah, you want that? It's $30. But let's get on to this post. So Sarah Baker says, finally got around to becoming a Patreon. Yay! Sadly, this isn't a whole lot for now, but when I can do more, I shall. Don't worry about that, you guys. You know, I understand, like, if you're a dollar person, that's all good. If you're a $100 person, that's all good too. I wish that I could just be like, I guess just explain that it's like, man, I'm grateful for everybody that goes on there, makes an account, clicks on a thing, and maybe you don't even want to Patreon me. You just end up Patreonizing somebody else. Like, well, let me see. Who are my Patreon? Where's my list? Like, you could go to Flynn's Fish Forum. You could go to the Fish Nerd. Priscilla MK Art, who is awesome, by the way. You should order some art from her. I'm a Patreon of JH Aquatics, Susan for SLC Aquatics, Danny's Aquariums, Ray's Aquaria, and Fish for Thought, along with some others. I think one dropped off, or two dropped off, sorry. 2 people stopped creating, so I guess that's all I have for right now. So I'll find a couple more. But yeah, I'm grateful for the people that just go on and Patreon even other people's stuff, so. But she says, while I am here, I would like to share pics of my Dark Knight Ram Fry. I'm super excited and very surprised I have them, as I've only had the parents for 1 month. The pics are not the greatest, given the location of the fry are in the back of the tank, mainly behind the Blixia hedge, and so I have to take the pics from an elevated stance. My tank is a 54-gallon, heavily planted community, temp at plus or minus 85 degrees with rummy nose and cardinal tetras. A couple pygmy cories, they seem happy at the temps, and my Dark Knight Rams. It is pretty warm in that, yeah, 85 degrees. You're pretty warm. Got a pretty warm setup there, but that's probably why they bred so fast. I'm always happy to see fry in anybody's aquarium. Speaking of some fry, this guy right here has got a bunch of bristlenose fry going around in the 240. I didn't even notice that they bred. There was just fry in there. You know what I mean? They're bigger than fry. Like, swimming around on their own and everything at this point, finding food. What's going on here? I got blown up. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, the Fish Nerd tweeted. Why do I have this turned on so that it buzzes at me? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, the Fish Nerd has a new video out. You guys should check that out if you can. If you got time. If you got time, I would do it. Whew. But, Sarah, I'm glad to hear about this. The Dark Knight Fram. What did I just say? Dark Knight Fram? Come on now. Dark Knight Fry. Those Dark Knight Rams. I tried to say fry and ram at the same time. Fram? Yeah, smooth. Pretty good. Pretty good talking. I do pretty good at the talking, you know. But I'm super stoked to see these Dark Knight Rams are intriguing me for sure. And I do realize that I've had the wool pulled over my eyes. Ricab Harris. I don't know if anyone else can figure it out right now. Can anyone else figure out Ricab Harris at this moment? Can anyone figure out Ricab Harris? What exactly it is? I thought Ricab Harris was like a Ukrainian dude. Can anyone figure it out? Because I figured it out. I haven't noticed if anybody in the chat's figured it out yet. I don't see anybody haven't figured it out in the chat yet. Maybe you guys are on rain delay. But if anybody's figured this out... And she says, and I hope you don't mind me sharing a second pick, one of the parents rounding up the fry as best as possible. These are amazing. These Dark Knight Rams, I am pretty excited about. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm pretty excited about it, and I hope to get some of these. I really do. I know I was talking with Dean about this, and I really hope to get some of these fries or get some of these fish at some point in time. So I really have got to. I got to find somebody locally that's got them and figure out how to do that action. And then Gillett just posted the Patreon page like 6 times into the chat. Pretty cool. In one comment. He's pretty enthusiastic about it. Johan S. has a new pick of the fish of the collection. I'm not even going to claim to even know what kind of rainbow fish this is. After having talked to Gary Lang this week, I realize there are so many kinds of rainbow fish. I'm not even going to claim to even know what kind that is at this point. But here's something I know about. Driftweed. I know a thing or two about Driftweed, you guys. Rumbust sent in. Bubbling means it's... gotta start over. Bubbling means it'll sink soon, right? That darn thing floated like a cork, but it looks nice. This was while it was in a container just to be pre-soaked, and now it's weighted down and in a half-filled aquarium waiting for the floor to dry up. Spilled about 5 or 8 liters, 2 to 3 gallons, while setting it up again after breaking it down. No problem, just the living room floor got a little wet, and the fabric from one of our sofas, and the stuff stored under the sofa, and the rug, and water got under 2 aquarium benches that had to be moved, 140 and the one I was working on, the 13-gallon. Thankfully, it's warm and dry, so that'll help. I've been down this road many, many times, you guys. Many, many times I've been down this road for sure. But yes, if it actually is releasing the air and taking on some water, you're getting closer and closer to it actually being fully sunk. You will get there. It will happen. Wood will sink eventually. And this looks like Mopani, so you'll be fine. It will get there for sure. Alyssa Bentley sent in a big post. Let's get to it. Cheap rimless divided 20 long. If I take one of those AGA 20-gallon long tanks, remove the plastic rim, and then silicone 2 evenly spaced glass dividers, would that be stable enough to not fall apart on me? I'm thinking about a different way to keep my Neocaridina shrimp colonies so I can raise the temps and lower the pH on my Ancistrus tanks without murdering my rainbow of shrimp. And I want full-on glass dividers because the shrimp seem to easily get around those screen dividers that are commercially available. That is 100%. Screen dividers do not work for shrimp. It's not going to work great. They can climb over them, too. The reason I want to remove the rim is because I have this sweet rack that would hold the tanks perfectly if they weren't just slightly too large due to the rim. Also, I have a glass cutter and straight edge and aquarium-safe silicone and experience cutting glass and gluing it into tanks. So I basically just need to run to Home Depot and get that window replacement glass they sell. So I was thinking this would be an economical way to use what I already have to solve my little shrimp dilemma. What do you think? Safe? Not safe? Alyssa! It's right up my alley. Kid? It's right up my alley, kid. Yes, this would be safe. On a 20 long, somebody out there is going to quote me, but if you have a brand new 20 long and happen to de-rim it, I've seen them last years and years and years and years and years and years. No problem. Not really that big of a deal. A 20 long with divided glass inside of it, that's going to do exactly what the rim does. What that black rim does, that's what those divided piece in there, which is why I often see sump tanks typically don't have a top piece on them or anything like that, because they have those divider pieces going in there to hold all the sides and hold it together. So yes, this is if I was going to divide a tank again and do, with air quotes, a triptych, aka 3 tanks in one, this is exactly how I would do it. This is the way that I would go about doing it, instead of doing 3 individual tanks, which I did in the past. A rock fell over and broke one of them, which was pretty cool. But yes, this should be completely the best way to go about doing this. Adding in the glass panes. Don't use acrylic panes inside there. That's not good. Glass with glass, acrylic with acrylic. Come on now, guys. That's just how you have to do it. And that's the best way to go about it. If you are going to build something like this, you're on the right track for sure. Sounds good to me, I guess. And you already addressed, like, you have experience, you have all that kind of stuff going on. So if you have the experience and whatnot, you know to be safe, don't cut yourself, take precautions, and also allow the silicone to cure for the entirety that it needs to completely cure. Remember, oftentimes the silicone needs about a week to fully cure, which means it should have it should not be tacky to the touch at all, and it should have no smell. That is going to be your biggest indicator. The smell will go away once it's fully cured. And don't keep it in a room where you're in while it cures. That's just, are you asking for a headache? Like, you just want a headache? So just remember those things. If you keep it in the room that you're in, keep it ventilated. Some silicone curing products are toxic to people, so and you more often than not get a headache for sure. But yes, make sure to let silicone cure long enough. That normally is what happens when disasters strike. Is that it's like, how long did you let it cure for? Steve Horton on the 13th sent in some beautiful pictures of his angels, which, dude, fan-freaking-tastic, my guy. I'm liking it. Laying more eggs, doing some breeding. I don't see the orange ones very often. This orange koi right here, this koi angel, this with the koi spots on it. Ooh, what a cutie. Good-looking fish, Steve. I'm digging it. Those are some good-looking fish. Johan actually sent in a picture a week ago, and he stumped us all with the anableps. He sent in some picture where you could just see the top, and we were supposed to guess what they were. I was wrong, because I thought they were archer fish, because I couldn't really tell what was going on, so I just kind of picked. But the anableps, as he describes here, the four-eyed fishes are the genus Anableps of fishes in the family Anablepidae. They have eyes raised above the top of their head and divided into 2 different parts so they can see below and above the water surface at the same time. Like their relatives, the one-sided live bearers, four-eyed fishes only mate on one side, right-handed males with left-handed females, and vice versa. Which, to be brutally honest with you, totally cool. Totally cool, and maybe useful information for somebody out there. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but it could definitely be useful for somebody. And super interesting fish, that is for sure. I've never seen them for sale in my area. I've never seen them available. I've only ever seen them available online. So kudos to you getting some and having them and them looking like they're doing so well. So that's pretty cool. Mountain Man Dan, this is like the first post I've ever seen from Mountain Man Dan, which is awesome. So he's got 2 very buried Amano shrimps. What's the best way to get the babies to make it to full adults? I was told they need brackish water, but do I move the females over or do I try to strip them from the female? Can the females be in brackish until she throws them? I'm sorry to tell you, you need brackish. Okay, so you need to set up separate tanks. Okay, to answer this. Ooh, Steve says when he got home from work yesterday, the eggs were gone. Yeah, that will happen. The kind of the best thing to do with angels is to allow them to, if you can get them to spawn onto something that's removable from the tank, that would be the best bet. Probably the other angels came in or they ate them themselves or something like that. I would get them to lay on something that you can remove from the tank, and you know, you'll be able to save the eggs that way. But it's up to you, really. Oftentimes, a lot of the angelfish breeders I know, they will have the pair in there in a tank and then take the pair out and just leave the eggs in there and use that as the hatching, as the raising tank, whichever tank they got them in. But it's up to you. I would say it would be easier to get them to spawn onto something, but you never know. Sorry, I'm catching up on the chat here real quick because I want to explain the Amano shrimp. Okay, getting the offspring, getting the eggs and everything is going to be incredibly difficult. It is a... I'm not saying it's incredibly difficult. It's just a ton of work. You're going to need to get them over into brackish. Then you're going to have to get it close to full salt water until they can release the babies. But in the time when they release the babies, you're going to need a healthy culture of infusoria. So you're going to basically need brackish green water and getting close to full salt. Then once they release the babies, they're going to be free swimming for a while. It's going to take 3 to 4 days for them to get big enough to feed off of anything solid, and then you're going to have to slowly work your way back to fresh. It is pretty much a nightmare. Unless you're already set up to do it, it's too late for these shrimp to get the eggs from these shrimp. Honestly, it's just too late. You're going to have to get a setup, get the system running, and have it running ahead of time so that when they do get buried with eggs and stuff, you can move them over. Your best bet is going to be just to allow them to release the eggs into the tank. It's not going to really be that big of a deal. It will just get consumed by whatever else is in the tank, but they won't be able to do anything in full fresh water. You're just not going to get there. But it is not the easiest thing to do, and you're going to need to set the system up. Go set it up now for the next time that they're buried, because right now it's just kind of too late. There really just isn't anything you could do like that. But to get them to full adulthood is going to take quite a bit. You're going to need a lot of small food, infusoria and stuff like that. You're going to have to maintain it. You're going to have to maintain it for quite a while in order to get them to so that they are kind of grazing on algae and things like that. It does take a lot. I don't remember exactly every step off the top of my head because it's been a long time since we did it. It's been a long time. Seemed like something that was going to be a great idea when we set out to do it. It was like, oh man, you know, they sell the mono shrimp for like $7, man. I can breed shrimp like crazy, and we bred them, but by the end of it, we lost money. We lost money by the end of it, so it just really wasn't the greatest idea in the world or anything. But that is our Patreon posts for the week. We somehow made it. We made it, and hopefully I answered some questions. Hopefully we had a little discussion. We got most people's stuff. During the show, we've got a brand new patronizer named Dan P. Dan Pizer came in at the $5 a month. Thank you very much, Dan. We're up to 302 patronizers. And I say that sounding kind of nervously And my reason for that is that you never really know. Wait, hold on. We got to reload this. 302. Oh, it's not showing up on the thing. Oh, I don't know. Let's go back to the regular scene, you guys. What am I doing? There we go. All right. The reason I say 302 kind of nervously is real easy for like a couple of people to no longer be Patreons. And then I'm like, oh, I'm under 300 again. Ah! It just feels like I hit that solid number. I don't want to go backwards. But hopefully we're putting out some good content, answering some questions, stuff like that. It is a little bit reliant on you guys to send in the questions. Obviously, I answer questions from the chat also to the best of my ability when I can. And sometimes the issue is that that I don't necessarily get to a lot of the stuff in the chat, but I try to set time aside for the Patreon people, because you guys have been super generous, and this whole show is pretty much up to that. Small Town Tanks sent in a super chat, and I kind of missed it. But as you guys know, like the Friday show is all about getting to the Patreon people that have been supporting for so long. So I try to get to that stuff first. I try not to run into all of the super chats when they come in, and I'm trying to get to the Patreon stuff. But Small Town Tanks, I did not forget. So got some question here. Live food options for adults. Stempnomoma. I don't know. I've never known how to say this right. Tenepoma. Okay, it's African bushfish. Or sorry, leopard bushfish. Leopard bushfish, not African. Are they from Africa? I don't know if they're from Africa. Let me check. I think they're from Africa. They might be from South America. Let me see. Spotted sickle. Where'd they come from? Where are you from? Oh, here we go. Okay, that unenhance. Oh, the People's Democratic Republic of Congo. All right, there we go. That's in Africa. Congratulations, I got something right. I managed to pick the right continent. Now, so, asking what's the best type of food, thinking white clouds or ghost shrimp, keep up the dope shows. Well, I'll keep up the dope shows, and we shall talk about some African leopard bushfish food. What are you going to feed them? Here's the thing. These fish should probably eat just about anything. I'm not saying that they're super crazy aggressive or anything like that, but they're fairly aggressive, and they want to go for food. So if you have other live fish in there, if it fits in their mouth, they're probably going to eat it. They're just into it. Are they a cool fish? Yes. Do I think that they're awesome? Yes. Would they eat most everything in my shrimps? Or in my tanks? My shrimps. Yes, including my shrimps. So, availability of food, I would say that if you could get ghost shrimp, that is a great option. Ghost shrimp would be a great option. White cloud mountain minnows, as much as I would say yes, those work. It's not something that I would be aggressively going after personally. Personally, I wouldn't be doing that. Just because of the connotation and like how difficult it would be to keep up with, like, maybe if you were like breeding your own mountain minnows, like maybe if you were breeding them and you're feeding them, maybe that is something that you're going to try to do. If that's the case, it's really difficult to keep up with, so that becomes difficult. I would say that if you were going to kind of be breeding your own fish, which this kind of sucks, but guppies would probably be all right. It could probably keep up with the pace. The white cloud mountain minnows, as you guys know, that they do breed like crazy, but I just don't think that you'd be able to keep up with the pace. But the ghost shrimp are a great option. That's something that is fairly affordable, and shrimp are definitely something that they would all eat. I would look into stuff like the fluval bug bites and stuff like that you might be able to come in like really close with some of the supplemental foods that are actually made of the bugs and stuff that they would normally eat. That's kind of what the bushfish are all about. That's pretty much what their main diet consists of. And they're kind of hot and loose kind of fish. Like they kind of just can live wherever. So I wouldn't be worried about it too much. If there was a live food that I wanted to feed, I would consider mosquito larvae. Mosquito larvae would be the easiest thing for you to reproduce, like as somebody that's culturing something that you want live that's actually moving around. I would go for like the mosquito larvae. I know a lot of guys locally that have done really well with that. Actually, one of them I talked to the other day. But I know a lot of guys that have locally done really well with mosquito larvae. They're really easy to get into. Grubs also and stuff like that would be probably pretty easy to kind of replicate, get a culture going that's not too far out there. With grubs and things, I think you definitely amend that. But I would kind of stay away from the live fish feeding because it's really difficult to keep up on it with breeding and stuff like that to try and, supply enough food and those kinds of things, for sure. We also got a $10 super chat from the Aquarium Co-op with the like spike. Drown this man in likes. Very odd. Very odd, you weirdo. Drowned me in likes. Likes and super chats. Well, thanks, guy. I don't know if the like spike worked or not, but we are doing the early show today, so I noticed that we have a kind of a smaller crowd. We have a pretty small crowd here today, you guys. We're just hovering right around 100 people. So, that is what it is. 54 Pungy says wingless fruit flies are easy to keep a culture going. That is a good point. That didn't cross my mind. That is a thing that didn't cross my mind, but yes, wingless fruit flies are quite easy to keep a culture going. It's quite easy. The Fish Nerd says, I've considered setting up a tank to try culturing live blackworms. The live blackworms is doable. I just had problems with it personally. I just couldn't really get the old blackworms to be doing exactly what I wanted them to be doing. But the wingless fruit flies, I did have quite a lot of good success with the wingless fruit flies, that's for sure. Mosquito larvae are super easy. Fuzzy Fish is asking about parasites with mosquito larvae. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the question is with parasites and mosquito larvae. My guess would be I'm guessing that your question would be I'm guessing that you would be kind of worried about Lyme disease and stuff like that. But if you actually are hatching out your own larvae and mosquito larvae and stuff like that, typically they don't have anything. They normally get it and they're spreading it from like mammal to mammal and stuff like that. So it's not normally. So if you actually are you get your own mosquito larvae culture going. That's not normally how it works. It normally works from the mosquito bites and stuff that they're going back and forth. Tampa Tom says, my neighbors might not like me growing mosquitoes in the backyard. That's true. They might not like it, but who cares? Who cares what your neighbors think? I mean, realistically, I guess. I don't know. My neighbor's dog barks all the time, so they don't seem... I mean, they do seem concerned about it. Like, they don't let it go on for very long, but it's like, I'm sure the guy's not losing sleep over whether I like it or not. But I do know some neighbors, people have freaked out. But How would anybody know what was going on in the bucket back here, you know, in my backyard? How would they know? You know what I mean? So, and the easy way to get over it, would be just to kick the bucket over and let them dry out. You know, if they dry out, they die. That's why they're in the water. Bentley is asking, if you plan to culture mosquito larvae, please make sure it's legal to do so. It would be pretty easy just to get some net or some screen tops for your buckets too. That's a pretty easy way to go about it. Get some screen tops, harvest them during the day because that's when they're not really moving around a lot. They're normally just hiding out in the shade. Harvest them during the day. Super easy. You can kill the flying ones. And kill the flying ones and then just feed them to your fish. But that is, I just say mosquito larvae is kind of the easiest one that I've had the most success with, you know, other than the wingless fruit flies. But I will tell you this, wingless fruit flies are not wingless forever. You know what I mean? Like, I think you get a couple of generations of them and stuff, and then next thing you know, it's like, who's this? There's a flying one. I just feel that way. Or maybe I just got regular fruit flies showing up. Who knows? I didn't have a microscope out to really figure it out. But there's a fly in here. He's going to get it. I left the back door open earlier, and a fly flew in here. Jan and Keller says... It says, neighborhood associations are the worst. Yeah, I don't have one of those. We just live here. Oddball Aquatics says, should I gut load earthworms before feeding to fish if they are purchased from a bait shop? Yes, 100%. If you buy fish from a bait shop, you should be feeding them, for sure. Personally like Bentley Pascal personally likes vinegar eels. Great microfood source. Corey's awesome video on creating a culture taught me all I need to know. Yeah, vinegar eels are quite easy to do. That's a good option to go in. Kobe says neighbors are dumb and they should feel dumb. Yes, that's pretty good because I am a neighbor and I'm dumb and I should feel dumb. Kelsey Clark says, never seen orange sky. I don't know what orange sky is. What is that? Oh, 54 Punchy says, wow, just looked out the window and the sky is totally orange. I don't think they're having much luck getting the forest fire under control. Kelsey Clark says, never seen orange sky. It's that smoke. That's right. 54 Punchy is in the fire season early this year. Gosh. It is rough out there sometimes with the fire season. It seems uncontrollable at times that the earth is trying to fight back and just burn us all alive. It just feels that way sometimes. I know it's not real, but you know, it seems like it certain times of the year. But you guys, we are coming up on the last 6 minutes. 6 minutes of the show, 6 minutes and counting. And we've got a super chat from Andre saying hello from Sweden. Well, hello, Andre. Thank you for saying hello from Sweden. I like it. Barbara says banana worms are super easy. Also, oh, we have like 6 minutes left. I forgot we have a video portion. Video portion, let's go. Video portion, let's do it. Video portion, let's go. Video portion, it's on a Friday. Totally forgot. I was supposed to be going over to the video portion, and I spaced it, you guys. Now it can be spooky on a Friday. Well, you know, that just means I've had multiple snafus this week with Zenzo's audio. For whatever reason, should have been working, didn't. And for getting the video portion on a Friday. I gotta plug this light back in. I want it to be fully charged for my trip. There. Now it's charging. So our video portion today is brought to you by Patreon. Thanks for patronizing. This guy's ridiculous. But yeah, thank you guys for your support. That's what brings it in here. And as you can see, I put a Patreon on the screen. I guess you guys already knew that. I'm kind of a dingleberry. Uh-oh. Let me see here. Oddball Aquatics is wondering what kind of Aponigeton was on here. There's Sarah's post. There's Rebecca's post. There's Johan. Let me see here. Let me see, Oddball. Let me check this out. Haley. Oh. Haley is Oddball, right? I think so. The Aponigeton that's in there in the middle, that one looks like Crispus. It's got the wavy leaves like the Crispus from this picture. As far as I can tell. Maybe we can zoom it in. Can I zoom in? Can I enhance? Enhance. Oop, it's going the wrong way. It's unenhancing, you guys. We gotta enhance. Get big. 400%. Oh my god, we've gone all the way to enhance 600%. And it's not even closer. Oh, here we go. What kind of Aponigeton is that? It looks like Crispus. Looks like it's right next to Valsneria. Looks like Crispus, I think. But it's not it's not Madagascar lace. It might be undulatus. That didn't cross my mind. It might be undulatus. It's not Hulodeti. Uvaceus, maybe. See, here's the problem. There are a lot of Aponigeton, and I can see them in person and normally get pretty darn close. It's hard to kind of tell from the picture here. It might be a Crispus, likely. It's not Ulvaceus. I know that. It's not Ulvaceus. I think you got Crispus. It looks like Crispus. It's not Madagascar lace. It's not Bovinianus. It's not Hulodeti. It's not... Yeah, I think the only two options from that picture would be the Crispus. I'd have to see how it flowers. It might be undulata. It might be undulata, and it might be Crispus. One of the two. I'd have to see how it flowers, though. And then we'll be able to figure it out. Candy Overhauls posted the affiliate link from the Aquarium Co-op. That's right, you guys. If you guys are going to go buy some plants and stuff from the Aquarium Co-op, which I know you were going to anyhow, because it's Friday and you all is spending cheese on Fridays because you got your paychecks and stuff. If you were going to go do that because you wanted to get some stuff in, utilize that affiliate link. Just utilize that affiliate link. It's the best way to go. It's one of the best ways to help out the show. And here's that. Anybody out there was trying to get some pearlweed last week, there's the link for it again. But yeah, just use that affiliate link. It's a great way to support the show. Our guy Corey has always kind of been about 100,000,000% supportive of this show. So we try to pay him back. And if you guys use the affiliate link, you know he knows where you're coming from. And then it just gives a mad shout out. And then we'd be all like, dude, shout outs, bros. And then everybody knows. And then everybody knows it's shout outs time. And then everybody's tripping, right? But, yes. So, today's show, with the video portion, today's video portion is going to be me trimming the massive stargrass again. This stargrass is getting 100% out of control, and I would say one of the big reasons for that has got something to do with I've been dosing Easy Green in this tank, and it's just been kicking like chicken and growing all crazy. But this is a requirement with the stargrass care. You cannot allow it to grow too tall. The base layers and stuff will get completely starved from light. Aesthetically speaking, it will be a disaster. You won't like the way that it looks underneath, and it will just keep growing up and up and up and up, and eventually will expose its nasty, dirty legs. Its little under leggy area will not be an attractive situation for anybody to look at. It's just kind of how this plant grows. That's how this plant goes. It's just part of the effect of how it grows and what it does. You have to do this. You have to cut it back and just live with the fact that it's going to be ugly for a little while. I'm definitely hitting that mark of having to trim it back much quicker because of dosing Easy Green in here in conjunction with great light and CO2 and great substrate. I pretty much got the quadrifecta of what a Planet Aquarium is supposed to be, so everything is doing quite well in this tank, and I would definitely say that the stargrass is definitely doing what it was supposed to be doing. It's doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's growing really rapidly, which means I have to keep cutting it back. But that also gives an opportunity for you guys to see how aggressively I cut things back, because you have to. You just have to get deep enough into cutting the carpets back so that when they do rebound, they're actually going to grow the way that you want them to grow. Now, there are a lot of people out there that don't want to trim their plants. I always try to remind them that in nature, if a manatee came swimming by, it would eat all this up. Then it would be the plant's responsibility to grow back, and guess what? The plant would grow back. It's just what it does. So it's a good part of the process to be able to go through the process, do this. If you have an opportunity like I do, I try to save some of the good portions of the plant that I do kind of pull out some of the whole ones and the trimmings and things, and pass those on to other hobbyists out there that definitely need some. Bentley Pascal actually got some of this from me just a little while ago. It's probably running rampant in his systems at this point. I know that he pulled up a bunch of a bunch of rainbow eggs this last fish meeting on Tuesday, the fish club meeting. He got a bunch of Gary Lang's eggs and stuff. So hopefully this plant will go in conjunction with some of those rainbow fish and give them an opportunity to just keep living a healthy lifestyle. Andre Sal just came in on the Patreon. Well, thank you very much, Andre. I appreciate it. It says, you have a very Scandinavian name. I do, because I'm Danish background is most of my background. From where are Danish people from? Not France, Denmark. Danish. But thank you very much, Andre. I definitely appreciate it. Jane Keller's asking, is that stargrass the replacement from the hairgrass or microsort or whatever that is? This actually is on the left-hand side of the tank. This is a stargrass that is occupying probably the floor space of like a 40 breeder or something like that. That's how much space this actually takes up in the 240. It's kind of weird. It's difficult to think about perspective sometimes because this is a 240-gallon aquarium that is 8 feet long. But this is on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, stargrass has started growing into some of the areas. I'm going to have to be pretty aggressive with that because I'm growing other plants over there also, which I'll be doing a highlight on those next week because it seems like they've converted enough. They're doing well enough now that I can show you guys some video and see the comparison of how it's growing from being added in. Alyssa Bentley with a $2 super chat saying, do you just trim that like hair? More or less. Now, one of the things that's kind of tricky about how you trim this is that you got to kind of get in there and trim just the stem is the kind of nicest, cleanest way to go about it. But it can become wildly time consuming. And at certain times I need to economize my time and just go aggressive and then end up trimming this like hair. It's not going to negatively affect the plant. It's just going to be longer period of time aesthetically, right? So it's just going to be a little bit ugly, a little bit longer, which personally isn't that big of a deal for me. I try to time the trimmings and stuff out so that they're all around the same time, and I'm not going to be needing to like do any photography or anything like that in the meantime. If there's any photography, I'll just be doing it out of the 150 or the 60 or the other aquariums. And it's I try to get all the pictures and stuff that I could or that I may or may not need. Got those all taken care of, and so now's a perfect time to trim. Especially I'm going to be gone for the next couple days. Give it a couple days to rebound, and I can also see what needs to be. There might be a little bit of extra trimming that I might need to do. And when I get back, then I'll be able to sort that out. Vexing Cat says, in 1912, some of my family in the Netherlands moved to Denmark, some to America. Ooh. Well, that's not a bad deal either way. Bentley says the Stargrass is in 2 tanks, floating, and one planted in ADA for some fun. I'm digging it. Sounds good. RC tracks a slasher 4x4. Says I'm in the Netherlands. Well, that's cool. Congrats to everybody in the Netherlands. I like that. But we're kind of slowing down because it's kind of the end of the show. I want to remind everybody to share it. Hit the like button. Did everybody hit the like button? I don't even know. I can't even tell. It's not something that I can do on my end, really. I can't even tell you. Can't even tell you if anybody hit the like button. Did you guys hit the like button? Cool. I'm assuming you did. Where'd the thing go? Whoops. That's not a thing. Hold on. Coming up on the end of the show, you guys. Sorry. I'm trailing off. I'm getting kind of tired. I'm really hungry. I got to get something to eat. RJL is asking, can you replant the cuttings? Yes, but I do prefer to actually just pull the whole stem if I'm going to replant and propagate that way. I can definitely, so those cuttings I just did right there where I cut off just a ton, I could float those cuttings and they'll send out roots, and then I could plant those. That actually makes it, pretty easy. Let's see. Well, there's only 84 people watching, and there's 89 likes. So I guess you guys did it. You somehow broke the internet. Good job, guys. A couple of dislikes, man. Who are those people? Jerks. Get out of here. But thanks, everybody, for coming out today. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. I do actually have to go because I got to go pick up our house sitter. I got to go grab our house sitter and bring them back here. Be like, you can't go anywhere. You have to stay here 24 hours a day. But our house sitter will be here while we're gone, taking care of the doggos, watching the alarms and all that kind of stuff, and making sure everybody's legit. We will definitely have a fun time in San Francisco. I hope everybody out there has a fantastic weekend. I hope it works out brilliantly for y'all, and hope everything continues to go well on your end. I will be back with a regular show on Monday, and hopefully see if I can't get an edited video up for the weekend, you know, to kind of tide you guys over. Just remember, without you, we wouldn't even be able to, right? So then, now everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's getting weird over here, guys. I got to go. I love you guys. Have a fantastic weekend. Where's that button at? Later.